Hey guys, this is Evan from EzOrigami, and today I'll be teaching you how to fold an origami Gary star designed by Sok Song. This is a simple modular model, and it's perfect for the upcoming holidays. This model requires 8 square sheets of paper. Each unit is folded from 1 square, and I recommend using 3-inch squares to fold the units. Using 3-inch squares will result in a model about 5.5 inches wide. You can use paper with color on both sides to create a star like this, or you can use paper with color on one side and white on the other to create a star like this. I'm going to be using larger paper with color on one side and white on the other just to make it a bit easier to follow along. And once you've prepared your paper, then we're going to start with our first square with the white side up. And we're going to start by folding in half diagonally. So take this bottom right corner and fold it up to the top left corner. Align the corners and the edges, then make your crease, and then unfold. And now we're going to rotate the paper so that the crease we just made now runs from the top left corner down to the bottom right corner. And then we're going to fold in half diagonally in the opposite direction. So once again, take this bottom right corner and fold it up to the top left corner. Align the corners and the edges, then make your crease. And this time we're not going to unfold. We simply want to rotate the model just like this so that the corner with the right angle is now held on the bottom. And now we're going to fold up this bottom corner and align it with this point here where the top edge and this vertical crease intersect. So we're going to start by lifting up the top layer of paper, and we're simply going to pull it up until the bottom corner aligns with that intersection. Just like this. And once everything is aligned, then you can make your crease, and your model should look like this. And then we're going to turn the model over. Now we're going to fold down the left and right corners and align them with this bottom corner here. So we're going to start with this right corner, and we simply want to lift it up, and we're going to pull it down and over to the left until the bottom and right corners are aligned, just like this. And then you can make your crease through all layers. And now we're going to do the same thing on the left. So once again, we're going to lift up this left corner, and we're going to pull it down and over to the right until the left and bottom corners are aligned, just like this. And then you can make your crease through all layers. And once you have this, then you can unfold the 2 flaps that we just folded in. And now we're going to fold over this top right edge and align it with this left diagonal crease here. So we're going to start by lifting up the right side of the model, and we're simply going to pull it over to the left just like this. Now as you're doing this, you want the paper to pivot from this top center point here, and you want to continue pulling the right side of the model over to the left until that right edge is completely aligned with that diagonal crease. Just like this. Then you can make your crease through all layers. And if you've done this correctly, you'll see that this white edge and the vertical crease underneath will also align. And once you have this, then we're going to turn the model over. And now we're going to fold up this bottom corner and align it with this point here on the left end of this white edge. So we're going to start by lifting up this bottom corner, and we're going to pull it up and over to the left until the bottom corner is completely aligned with this point. You'll see that these horizontal white and colored edges will align as well, and then you can make your crease. And once you have this, then you can rotate the model 90 degrees, and this is 1 completed unit. Now you must fold 7 more. Once you've folded all 8 units, you're going to need 2 to start the assembly. Then, look at one, and you'll notice that it has a small flap on the right side of the model here, and it also has a small pocket underneath this white triangle here. These will be used to lock the units together. And then if you slightly rotate the model, you'll notice that on the back there's a larger pocket in between these 2 layers here. This will be used to hold the units in the correct position. So once again, we're going to take our second unit, and what we want to do is slide the left side of the second unit in between the 2 layers on the back of the first unit. So we're going to do that by again lifting up both units, and then we want to slide them together, again making sure that the second unit goes in between those 2 layers, just like this. Then you want to continue sliding both units together as far as they'll go, just like this, and you'll see that they reach a point where they don't want to go any further. At this point, you want to double check to make sure that both units are in the correct position, and you can do that by making sure that the colored edges on both units are aligned, and you can also check to see that the white and colored flaps all come to a central point at the bottom of the model here. And if you turn the model over, it should look like this, and again you can see that both units come to a common point at the bottom of the model. Then we're going to turn the model over once again, and we're going to lock the first and second units together. And we're going to do that by working with this small flap that I mentioned before. And what we want to do is simply fold this small flap behind this white triangle along this existing crease that I've marked here. So we're going to do that by first separating the layers behind the white triangle, just like this. Then we want to push that small flap inside as far as it'll go. So just push it inside along that existing crease, just like this, so that the small flap is now hidden underneath. And once you have this, then you can flatten out the model along existing creases. And now you've connected the first two units. And now we're going to add a third unit this same way. So we're going to do that by again sliding the left side of the third unit in between the two layers on the back of the second unit. So once again, we're going to pick up all three units, and then we're going to slide the second and third units together, again making sure that the third unit goes in between the two layers on the second unit, just like this. Again, slide both of the units together as far as they'll go, until they reach a point where they don't want to go any further. Once they've reached this point, then you want to double check to see that both of the units are in the correct position. So you want to make sure that the colored edges on the top of both units are aligned, and you also want to make sure that the white and colored flaps of all of the units come to a common point at the center of the model here. And once everything is aligned, then we can lock the second and third units together. And we're going to do that by working with this small flap on the second unit. And what we want to do is tuck it behind this white triangle on the third unit by folding it back along this existing crease that I've marked here. So we're going to do that by first separating the layers behind the white triangle, just like this. And then we want to push that small flap inside as far as it'll go. So just push it inside along that existing crease, just like this. Then you can put the model back down, flatten it out along existing creases, and now you've connected three units. And now we're going to add the fourth unit this same way. So once again, we're going to slide the fourth unit in between the two layers on the back of the third unit, just like we've been doing. So continue sliding both units together until they reach a point where they don't want to move any further. And again, you want to make sure that both units are in the correct position by making sure that both of their top edges align, and also making sure that the layers come to a point in the center of the model here. And again, we're going to lock the third and fourth units together by focusing on this small flap on the third unit. And again, we want to tuck it behind this white triangle by simply pushing it in along that existing crease, just like this. Again, you can put the model back down, flatten it out along existing creases, and then you've connected 4 units. Now we're going to add the remaining 4 units the same way. So repeat this same process until you've reached the last unit. And as you add more units, you'll start to see that the new layers will overlap the old units. So what you want to do is just keep the new layers on top. And once you've added the last unit, then we're going to connect the first and last units together the same way. And what we're going to do is slide the left side of the first unit in between these 2 layers here on the back of the last unit. So in order to do that, you'll have to pull up the first unit from underneath. It may help to slightly separate the units. And then you want to slide the first unit in between those 2 layers just like we've been doing. Just like this. You want to push the 2 units together and make sure they're completely aligned. And then we want to tuck the small flap on the last unit underneath the white triangle on the first unit, just like we've been doing. So just tuck that small flap inside along that existing crease, just like this. Then you can flatten out the model along existing creases. Then you can turn the model over, and your origami Gary star is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial on how to fold an origami Gary star designed by Sok Song. Feel free to upload photos of your completed star to the YouTube gallery on my website to be featured here in my next video, or simply upload your photos to Instagram with the hashtag EzOrigami to be featured here as well. Again, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and thank you for watching.